Hi guys, this is Xander Stevie and VHS Reviews here, and today I'm going to show a book review of WALL-E. And here we go. If you had lived during the early 29th century, you might have been cruising aboard a luxury spaceship with Earth turned lonely and silent, awaiting your return. You might have thought the plan was completely desolate, but it wasn't. There was someone still left on Earth, and he had a very important job to do. He was the only one suited for the job, and when he was finished, all the people would be able to return. His name was WALL-E, which stood for Waste Allocation Load Lifter Earth Class, and he spoke in electronic beeps. WALL-E was a little rubbish compacting on it unit, and each and every day he went about his job of cleaning up the polluting planet. But even though WALL-E was programmed to compact rubbish, he thought beyond his directive. WALL-E looked for treasures in the rubbish, little discoveries every day. He had a pet to a cockroach, but he was still lonely. On his way home, WALL-E always passed the holographic billboards that played in B&L commercials. Centers earlier, B&L by and large had made these ads to invite humans to space for holiday-like cruises, had promised to clean up Earth while the people were away. On one particular day, WALL-E found a new pair of treats, making the ride home a bit smoother. And that home was one of WALL-E's favorite places. It was an old treasure, and WALL-E always sped up and when it came into view. After settling inside the trailer, WALL-E went about his routine, putting away the little treasures he had found in the rubbish during that day. He also returned on the video and Hello Dolly, as he did very evening. As usual, WALL-E gazed at the video, hoping might actually fall in love with someone just like the people in the movie. Then he would be lonely anymore. The next morning, WALL-E gathered up solar energy for the day and soon was out and about, cleaning and collecting more rubbish. He found a fire extinguisher, though he did not know what it saw. To WALL-E, this was an intriguing new object, but when he he pressed the lever. He was propelled into the loop. Then that landing him in a pile of garbage. Wally made an electronic moan. He was sure that he liked this red thing. And then something very different happened. Something then changed Wally's life favorite forever. It all started when Wally found a new kind of treasure. It was soft and green. Breep! Wally was filled with wonder as the gaze at it. Then he carefully placed the delicate green thing in an old boot. He did not know what it was, but he could tell it was precious. Later that evening, Wally heard a loud roaring sound, a spaceship landing in a fiery blaze, stirring up a dust storm. It left off a robot sleek, white with bright blue eyes. Wally fell in love in a robotic second. Her name was Wally. Her name is Eve. Wally followed Eve like a puppy dog. He couldn't stay away from her. She seemed to be looking for something. Wally wanted to make friends with Eve, but she seemed wary of strangers. So when Eve heard someone behind her, she fired her blaster arm. Luckily, Wally was protected by a boulder. Later, Eve saw the cockroach amidst a pile of old tires. Kablam! Uh-oh. Luckily, Wally's pet hope out the hole Eve had blasted. The friendly cockroach climbed on to Eve's arm, tickling her. She giggled. After that, Eve seemed to accept the Wally will follow her everywhere she went. One day, Eve stopped. They could not communicate very well, but Wally showed her now the compacted rubbish. Eve told him that her program directive was a secret. Then the two robots introduced themselves. Eva, Wally, repeated, mispronouncing the most beautiful name he had ever heard. And that is when the sandstorm hit. Wally tried to warn Eve to its dangers, but she did not understand. Wally, she screamed, as she felt the sand swirling around rescuing her and taking her to his home. Wally delighted in showing Eve his treasures. Eve was interested in everything in Wally's trailer. She had fun. Then Wally turned on his video of Hello Dolly. He danced as the music in the movie played. Eve tried dancing too, but she spun so fast that she broke a few things, including Wally's eye. Luckily, he had spare parts. Then something really strange happened. Wally brought out the little green thing is in his boot. Eve dropped everything else Wally had shown her. She zeroed in on the green thing, locked it inside her, and completely shut down. Her only sign of life was a green flashing light. Eva! Wally tapped her timidly. Eve didn't answer or move. Wally tried everything to bring her back to him. Recharged her in the morning sunlight. He took her for walks, took her on a boat ride, and put an umbrella over her to shield her from in the rain. Still she slept. Then one day, the probe she returned to pick up Eve. Wally didn't hesitate. He left his job and his home, taking us a moment to gesture to the cockroach to stay put on Earth. And he followed his heart. Wally raced to the probe space as its engines fired. He held on tight as it blasted into space with Eve. Space was full of wonders as Eve slid inside the space. Wally got a view of Earth that he had ever seen before. Stars spun around him and the sun gave Wally a powerful recharge. Wally reached out to touch the icy rings around Saturn. He wished Eve could share the sights that swept by him. At least, he was never near her and could keep following her wherever she was going. Finally, the ship slowed. Ooh! Wally looked in awe at an enormous luxury spaceship. Eve's tiny probe space approached and docked aboard a massive starliner. It was the Axiom, the pride of the BNL fleet of spaceships. It housed a city full of people living in luxury until her return to Earth. Once in the loading dock. Wally immediately found Eve. Unfortunately, poor Wally was filthy from coping rubbish for centuries, and one bot named Ma had a very strong directive to clean, clean, clean. He began his relentless pursuit to clean Wally. Wally watched closely as Gopher, an insistent but to captain, transported Eve away. Wally raced after her. Ma followed. Following Eve through the heart of the Axiom's passenger area. Wally saw thousands of people and housing compartments weak. Sunlight filtered down from the fake sun. Wally took it all in, waving to passengers riding by in hover chairs. They hardly moved. One fell off his chair and seemed helpless. Wally was the only one who seemed to not notice, and he helped the man John back onto his chair. Wally pushed forward, seeing Gopher driving Eve onto a monorail. Wally chased him until he was blocked by Murray, a human passenger who didn't notice Wally or anything else except whatever showed up on her hollow screen. Desperate, Wally accidentally broke one of her side speakers and shut down all of the electronics. Murray blinked and looked around as if seeing left for the first time. She moved, and Wally was finally able to move forward. Wally zipped around Murray and followed Eve all the way to the bridge of the starship. On the bridge, and Captain and his autopilot called Audio controlled the ship, guiding it through the galaxy. Wally stayed hidden as he watched Gopher delivered Eve and Otto. Then, whoosh! Wally left an automatic door open beneath him. Yipes! He landed in the captain's quarters. The captain lived just below the bridge, and like his passengers, has become very used to having things done for him. As the captain did less, Otto did more. Other boots did more too. At Beauty Can Bot, Message Bot, and Wardrobe Bot got the captain ready for the day. The captain didn't have to lift and finger. Wally, still in hiding, rose with the captain back to the bridge. The captain pushed a button and Eve woke up. Eva! Wally gasped. Delighted, Wally! Surprised, Eve motioned for him to be quiet. A pre-recorded holographic video showed the head of Barn and B&L. "Greetings and congratulations," he said cheerily. Apparently, Eve's directive was to off signs of life on Earth, and she had done that when she had taken the green thing, a plant, from Wally back in his trailer. "It means it's time to go home," the B&L recording announced, while the captain read the Operation Recolonize manual. Wally excitedly beeped at Wally, but she just wanted him to stay hidden. She had work to do. From the next step, the captain pressed Eve's flashing green light. Her chest cavity swung open, but the plant was gone. The captain looked puzzled. "Probe memory is faulty," Otto reported in his monotone voice. "So then we're not going to Earth," said the captain with a sigh. "Send her to the repair ward," the captain continued. Then he spotted Wally. The little bot waved happily and shook the captain's hand, and fixed the robot as well. "Have it hosed down or something. It's filthy." Eve gave Wally a furious glance. She thought he had taken than planned. And to make matters worse, Ma was still on the trail of Wally's dirt tracks as they all headed to the repair ward. After Wally had gone, the captain stared at the dirt the bot had left on his hand. "Annalise," he told his resort's computer provider of all information. Analysis forensic contaminant, commonly known as soil, dirt, or earth, the computer droned. The captain actively began searching for more information. Wally had left his mark on the captain too. Lost of bots filled the repair ward. The orderlies locked Wally between a beauty can bot that made him look ugly and a vacuum bot that sprayed him with dust. Wally stayed confused on Eve. Another room. They took off her arm. Wally thought they were hurting her. Wally did not know that Eve had done this before. He did not know that her blaster arm always came off for a checkup. Wally freed himself using his laser to cut through energy bands. He charged into the room and grabbed Eve's blaster arm. Eve tried to tell him everything was fine, but Wally accidentally shot out the repair ward's control panel. All the reject bots were freed. They cheered for Wally and carried him on the shoulders out into the hall. They were never going back to that repair ward. Eve seemed to be the only one concerned about what lay ahead. She was right. The steward bot who kept order and controller on the Axiom lined the hail in front of the reject bots. Hold, said one. The reject bots froze. Eve took action. She took back in her blaster, arm from Wally, as she attached it. A steward bot took her picture. Flash! The image soon was on display all over the Axiom with a warning. Caution, road robots. Soon the reject bots kicked into high gear, fighting off the stewards to help Wally escape with Eve. The escape pod bay had a console that controlled two escape pods. Eve led Wally to one of the pods. She wanted to send him back to Earth. He would be safe. And she could finish her directive, but Wally wouldn't leave without her. Before they could argue, someone approached. Hayden, Wally, and Eve watched as Gopher appeared and put something in the escape pod. It was the plant. Wally snuck into the pod to give Eve's plant back, just as Gopher launched the pod into deep space. Wally screamed Wally. He pushed every button to try to stop the pod. Every button, even the someone he should never have touched pod with self-destruct in 10 seconds. The pod's computer informed him he had to find a way out. Wally spotted a fire. Meanwhile, Eve had propelled herself into space and was zooming closer and closer to the pod where it exploded. Stunned, Eve stopped in space, and then, whoosh! Wally zoomed past, riding his fire extinguisher, relieved to see himself safe. Eve raced to catch up to him. That is when Wally showed Eve that he had saved and the plants. Delighted, she leaned in towards him, and an arc of electricity passed between their foreheads, a robot kiss. Happily, they began a fun and romantic dance through space. Inside the space, one passenger noticed them. Murray. She had been fascinated by the world around her ever since Wally had disabled her holoscreen. Murray grabbed a passenger and disabled his holoscreen. Blinking, John was Wally. He was the bot who had helped John into his hover chair when he had fallen off. Smiling, he held Murray's hand. Back in the spaceship, Wally waited impatiently as Eve flew up a garbage chute to the bridge and delivered the plant to the captain. The captain excitedly watched two holographic images Eve had recorded on Earth. At first disappointed, he soon changed his mind. If the plant could grow on Earth, the people could return and he would lead them. Meanwhile, saw how Wally had cared for her while she was shut down. She finally understood love. Wally had come to so close to holding Eve's hand that he wanted to do it again. He was waiting for Eve at the door to the garbage chute. He clambered into the chute and started the steep climb toward the bridge. Maybe this time, if he could just reach her, they could hold hands. Up on the bridge, Otto refused to follow the captain's order to turn on the ship's detector so that it could verify the plant's origin and send the axiom home to Earth. Instead, they showed the captain a video. Barney Lodge had simply given up on Earth. We have to go back, the captain insisted, sir. Otto explained to the captain, orders are do not return to Earth. That was hundreds of years ago. The captain argued, now look at the plant, the green and growing, it's living proof. But the captain was making a hopeless argument. Gopher hurled the plant over to the trash chute. Down it went, and Wally caught it, bring it right back up to the bridge. The captain was thrilled until zap! Otto electrocuted Wally The little bot fell to the floor, completely disabled. Otto sent both Wally and Eve down the rubbish chute to the ship's enormous garbage bay. Eve barely managed to save Wally from being ejected with his rubbish into space. Ma helped too. He was still following Wally. Eve tried to hold Wally's hand to give him what he really wanted, but Wally gave her the plant. Eve realized that she no longer cared about her directive. She cared about Wally. Wally said, trying to say Earth. If Eve wanted to fix him, she had to go back to his truck on Earth. She had seen him repair himself with spare parts there. Now Eve did want to plant, but she wanted to do it to get the axiom back to Earth so that she could save Wally. She blasted a hole from them to escape. Then she carried Molly and Ma up and out of the garbage bay. As Eve and Wally moved up to a hallway in the ship, and stewards once again surrounded them. Just then the reject bots began to pour into the hall to help their hero. Wally emerging from their hiding places, the reject bots bravely battled the steward bots. Eve threw Wally towards the captain to return the plant to him. She hoped the captain would activate the hollow detector, returning the entire ship to Earth. The captain saw Wally and Eve on the monitor in his quarters. He managed to turn on the ship's intercom, telling Eve to go straight to the hollow detector instead of going to him. But he still needed to turn on the hollow detector. So he tricked Otto into thinking he had the plan. Not possible, said Otto. But he went down to the captain's room to be sure. The captain leaped out the grabbed hold of Otto. You're not getting away from me, the captain shouted. Otto dragged the captain up onto the bridge. During their struggle, the captain managed to hit the hollow detector button. Eve and Wally raced to the Lido deck where the hollow detector was rising. But on the bridge, Otto overcame to the captain again and deactivated the hollow detector. Wally and Eve arrived at the Lido deck just in time to see the hollow detector sinking. Wally jammed himself under the detector to stop its descent. No! Shouted Otto. Otto He punched the hollow detector button. It was as Wally fought against the sinking machine. The captain watched in horror. It was time for drastic measures. The captain stood up. He walked to Otto and flicked over his power switch. You are hereby relieved of duty, the captain said to the disabled Otto. The captain grabbed Otto, who now seemed like a regular ship wheel, and righted the ship. The passenger screams turned to cheers. Eve puts the plant in the hollow detector. The computer droned plant origin verified global preparation complete. Set course off for Earth. The hollow detector rose up off while he fell to the floor, crushed and broken. Wally Eve held him close as soon as she saw him. He had risked his life for her and for all the people on the Axiom, but at what cost? Eve called his name again. Wally didn't answer. The Axiom landed on Earth. The captain started to walk down the gangplank, but the passengers refused. Eve quickly whisked by racing to fly Wally to his home and repair him. She stopped for one brief moment to pick up Wally's patient pet, Cockroach. The cockroach hopped onto Eve as she flew off. The reject bots clambered after them. Inside the truck, Eve rummaged through Wally's spare parts. She raced through the pairs. When she was done, she blasted a hole in the roof. Sunlight poured into recharged Wally. Wally woke up. Eve held up her hand, but Wally just stared at it. Then he began compacting his treasures as if they were rubbish. He rolled out of the truck, ignoring Eve. Wally rolled past her, rolled past his cockroach, rolled past the reject bots. He had work to do. Compact rubbish. That was his directive. Eve couldn't believe it. Angrily, she tried to shake him. Then, in despair, heartbroken, she took his hands and said, "Wally!" Heartbroken, Eve leaned toward him. A spark of energy, the robot's kiss, passed between them as she grasped his hand. "Eva!" Wally moved his hands as his eyes began to light up and focus. And the first thing he saw was Eve, and in the moment Wally's greatest dream became true. He and Wally would be together forever. Back at the ship, the passengers blinked at their old home. The captain found a spot of earth and dug a hole, gently placing the plant in the ground. And Eve and Wally held hands as they watched the sunset. The end. Okay, guys, that's it. So, if you like my content, please click like and subscribe. Next is Up. We'll see you next time. Bye.